It's healthy to say, I can't come in today.
Right.
It's healthy to say, I need a minute. It's healthy to say, my mental health, my physical health, I'm deteriorating. I moved to New York. I didn't know anybody. I met the cast. They were my coworkers. That was my world. The show was my world. There was nothing more important. My family, personal relationships, everything slipped through the cracks because I was like, this was everything.
Yeah.
And which I'm proud of to a certain degree, but I would definitely handle it differently today, and I just did.
Named one of the New York Times 30 Under 30, Ana Villafañe is a true trailblazer in entertainment, breaking new ground both on and off the stage. Ana has wowed audiences on Broadway with her dynamic performances as Gloria Estefan in On Your Feet and Roxie Hart in Chicago. And she's made significant waves with her recent role in the critically acclaimed play N.A., where she portrayed the polarizing figure AOC. On screen, she starred in popular shows like Younger and New Amsterdam. From embodying powerful historical figures to championing Latinx representation, Ana's versatility is truly impressive. We dive into what it's like to bring such diverse characters to life, working with Holland Taylor, Puerto Rican elves, her secret backstage ritual, managing a chronic illness, and much, much more.
Ready for Crew Dragon and Team X.
Launching. Ladies, gentlemen, gays, and theys, it is my absolute privilege to bring you the Broadway star, actress, triple threat, the youngest mother-in-law I've ever had, and a friend, Ana Villafañe.
Look at us
I know.
in space. I love it.
How do you feel?
I feel good. I feel good. I mean, I woke up in Miami today, so that's a win, you know? But I'm good. I'm happy. I'm happy to see you guys like in real life. To touch you.
Nos tocamos.
Coño, my hands are freezing.
It's okay. I'll warm you up. Well, like Gem mentioned, we've known you for some time now.
This is true.
Obviously, the way that we met was unique.
I would venture to say.
Yes, but at the same time, over the years, we've gotten to know so much more of what you do, not only in your career, but in the person that you are, the way that you think, your philosophies, being a friend, as well as being by your side when it comes to your career highlights, which you've been freaking killing. So,
Thanks.
you know, we're going to talk about a lot of things today, but obviously the most recent thing you've done is this incredible play that you just worked on, N.A. So
yeah, it was a long summer, you guys. It was a long summer. When I first got the script, my agent sent it to me, and I was like, you know, they're like, oh, we want you to read this for interest. But Diane Paulus was attached to direct, Holland Taylor was attached to star, and it was going to be at Lincoln Center, which I've never played at Lincoln Center. And I was like, well, those three things are all very, very enticing and like, you know, delicious for an actor. But it was also like highly political, and it was also, you know, just us two, and which that part I was excited about, but it was, I was not sure if I wanted to live in that headspace over the summer, because I knew that it was going to be a limited run. We were supposed to close August 4th, but then it was a hit, and so we extended to September 1st, and it was, you know, just like going in day after day into that headspace willingly was a lot. I'm just such a creative, and I'm such an artist, and like I do believe really, really highly in being passionate about politics and about like the world around us and existing like more than just like with tunnel vision about like what's right in front of us, because we all exist in this world. I just also needed to take care of myself because it's an election year and all these things. And so I was just like, do I want to like be thinking about that all day, every day? But luckily Holland was a badass, and we just, or is a badass, and we just like developed this kind of instant rapport with each other that it became clear that I was like safe. You know, and so because we were fighting basically for 90 minutes every, you know, 8 times a week. And so she's an incredible actress, and it made me like level my game up too, you know, like, I love people who inherently just bring out the best in the people around them. Like whether that's in an interpersonal level or in like on a professional level, like that to me
or
is
a band.
like, yeah.
When you play with people who are better than you, you always get better.
Exactly. And that it's like playing one-on-one with Jordan, you know, like that you're going to come out a better basketball player. Like there's no way around it. So So yeah, it was wild.
That's a really, I can imagine, a really difficult role to prepare for, considering the fact that it's like politically charged. How did you prepare differently for this role?
I tried to like really anchor myself. I mean, I do this with every character that I play. For whatever reason, I keep being asked to play these like real women who actually, like biographical pieces or whatever. I was playing a woman who like is probably the furthest from me in a lot of ways, just being so analytical, logical. It was like a more linear, like scientific type brain. So I did a lot of research on like what would make her tick, like what drives her. And so like I landed on a lot of like her family and like her upbringing and like certain things that I could really instantly like kind of ground myself with. And then anything that was external, because again, like I'm kind of used to playing people a little bit more like me, I kind of left that. I let that go. So for every character, I always make a playlist because music is like a very perfect way in. But usually I also do like a scent because like the olfato, like the olfactory sense or whatever is such a fast trigger that you can like put a scent on and like I can just immediately jump into that headspace with the music. Like it's a combination thing that it's like my little trick for like backstage. And for this one, I didn't do a scent, which was kind of a test on myself. But I just didn't feel like she would give a fuck about that. And so it was kind of liberating. I also had never played a character who, when I say their name to people, isn't inherently, oh my God, I love that person. So someone who's a little bit polarizing, someone who isn't afraid to be polarizing, someone who knows they're rubbing at least 50% of the people the wrong way, but still says her shit loud. Yeah. And so that was really also liberating for me. And, I always learned something from all of them. And so it was good. It
sounds incredible.
Yeah. That sounds awesome.
Wow. I get in there. I like get really in there.
Just to clarify, we're talking about AOC.
Yes.
She was playing in the play, which obviously, hopefully you know that by now.
Yeah.
Playing such a polarizing character, making the decision to do so in and of itself is something that's scary. And I feel like something that I've always wanted to ask you is like, are your decisions in your career gut-based? Like, are they based on your intuition? Do you talk to other people and consult with them about making these decisions? Or you or do you follow your gut?
I follow my gut, I think, like 90% of the time. I think I've asked to play Alina Hernandez, which is this movie that I have coming out, which is Fidel Castro's daughter. I needed my grandparents to kind of sign off on that one first. So I like flew here when I first spoke to the director and all of that, which was in LA in 2018, mind you. We didn't shoot it until 2021. I flew here. I flew to Miami and I went to my grandparents' house and I like explained the situation. And I was like, because the last thing you want is like, them to like read a headline and be like, what? Like, and not understand. And so I really wanted to like make sure with them that it was cool. The only other time that I asked somebody for advice was Lin-Manuel Miranda, which was when I did Chicago at the end of the pandemic. Chicago on Broadway asked if I would come in and be either Roxie or Velma for them.
Incredible.
To reopen Broadway. And I was like, yes, just because like what kind of situation is that? Like just historically, I'm like, Broadway's never shut down. So I was like, I would love to reopen it. Yes. Yeah. Especially in this iconic like show. But I kind of wanted to do Roxie. Velma is like technically a better sing. But then they raised the keys for me. So it was fine. But
we altos, Mom.
but Lynn said Roxie. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. It was kind of like, that was like a flip a coin situation. But I always remember when I watched the movie Chicago as like a kid, I remember being like, oh my God, because I wanted to be Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Of course.
But then as an adult, like I realized that Roxie, and this is what Lynn told me, which swung me toward Roxie. Roxie gets like the arc. Like she kind of like goes through, you're going through the story with her.
It's true.
And
it's
so
true.
so that's how I ended up
I've
being
never looked at
Roxie
it like
on Broadway.
that.
Yeah.
You're incredible. You're incredible. You have played a lot of historical figures, so I'm curious.
Yeah.
What would you say is your favorite part about stepping into the shoes of someone, like you said, is a real person? And what would you say is the hardest part about that?
I think the hardest part is that there is a getting it wrong. To me, I mean, at least, but I'm also like really a perfectionist, and I try to, you can't go into anything knowing you already know, thinking you've solved the problem, because it doesn't work that way, because then you're going in with an ego that eliminates any kind of like room for artistry or growth or curiosity, or I don't know, you have to kind of humble yourself. And so it's been wild, because I've had this career where like, if I make it about me, even for like a split second, I lost the game. And so that's kind of cool, because it's kind of been able to keep me in check also, because like, you know, you start working, it gets exciting, whatever, you're like feeling yourself. But that quote of like loving the art in yourself, not yourself in the art thing.
Wow.
It makes it a lot kind of easier when you're playing somebody and it can't be about you. You know, like with Gloria, it had to be about her. that lady. It had to be about her. With AOC, it had to be about her and what she stands for, even though that show was a lot less biographical and a lot more conceptual.
For sure.
With Castro's daughter, like, it has to be about her and like what this woman has gone through, and she was on set the whole time. So like, again, there's a getting it wrong. And then and then now Ava Gardner, like it's all
epic.
Like I love that. I love the transformation aspect. I love the idea of like those little chameleons that change color and like that can really transform, like be in the element that they're spaced in. Yeah. So that's kind of like what I like get tingly and shit, you know? I get off on that, I guess.
So like we said, obviously you do a myriad of things, including music, which we're going to get to later, because that's something that selfishly I would love as a fan of yours to see you develop more. Like when you talk about music, well, we'll get there.
Yeah.
But anyway, now that we're on the business of like Broadway and plays and things like that, I think it's really cool if you're willing to share, like, for example, something about Broadway or theater that is completely unexpected. Like, what's something that you would think that nobody would expect is something that comes along with Broadway or theater?
It's a lot. I mean, it's very different than film and TV. It's you're kind of expected to know how to do certain things. I didn't realize when I moved to New York, it was to make my Broadway debut, which is like a fairy tale.
Look at that.
I didn't know that, like, you know, you're doing your own makeup.
Right.
It's, you know, the grind is really, it's more about sustaining the thing than getting the part. Getting the part is hard, right? Obviously. And like in terms of the percentage of people who like want to do this professionally, like there's a very small percentage who get the part. And I understand that, right? Once you get the part, then what? Because a lot of people, I feel like, want that cute little moment to post that they got such and such part, but then they're not showing up. Then they're not being disciplined enough to actually sustain the project.
I mean,
and
it's
that's
8 shows a week, right?
8 shows a week on Broadway doing the same exact thing. Or not, also like not to be elitist about it. Like there's Broadway, there's off Broadway, there's regional theater, there's, you know, all levels of theater that are all equally, you know, impressive, because you are doing it all and there's no take two, there's no, oh, I got that note wrong, let's start over, please. You know, there's no, like, there's no safety net. You're out there like raw. It's like naked. Like, it's like you're out there for the people, and it's a conversation, it's a communion with the people, with the room, everybody who comes in that night. Like, the audience will shape the performance if you're feeling that the audience is with you versus against you, like, but it's your job to still tell that story. And like the script isn't changing, the songs aren't changing, like what you have to do isn't changing, but it's your job to keep it as alive as the first time and to connect with whoever's in there. And actually your mom, I still do this every single time I perform and even on set. So your mom told me, one of the things when I was researching to play your mom is I was like, do you do anything before shows that is like specific to you before a concert? And so she told me that she did this thing where she stretches out her arms like a T, and with her palms toward the audience, standing backstage with her eyes closed, and takes 10 very deep, very focused breaths. and opening her chakras to give whatever that specific audience that day needs in that house. So it's like right before you go on. And I still do that to this day with anything, whether it's a play, whether it's, you know, I'm on set, like I'm that wild person. They're like, and if my brain starts to derail, because, you know, like if I'm on breath like number 4 and I'm like, oh my God, I forgot to put on eyeliner, blah, or something, I'm like, start again. And I have to start again. And it has to be like the last thing I do before going on. And so like it's about it. Again, it can't be, you have to like eliminate yourself a little bit, because it has to be about what it is that these people came in, these people bought tickets.
Yeah.
What are they, why are they here? Why are they here specifically? Not why did you show up? Not why did you want to be an actor? Not all of this other crap, because that's not going to get you anywhere.
Very mindful.
Oh no. Oh no.
It's true though. I say that all the time when I had that class with Livingston Taylor in Berkeley. The audience, you need them.
Yeah.
They don't need you.
Yeah.
You know, and it's an interesting kind of impasse to cross, but
Yeah.
what a beautiful thing to have continue to pass on.
Yeah.
And all the epic things you do. So when I see a T,
You'll think about that.
backstage.
I'm there like, no, I'm just there like,
And you don't do it alone. I mean, you're surrounded by people back there.
oh yeah, for sure. Oh, you have to let your freak flag fly. I
Yeah.
mean, come on. Also, like nobody involved in these like spaces, whether you're on set and it's like a grip or whatever, or like a camera op, like,
They can't be
or
shocked.
you're backstage. I mean, it's just like, we're all weird. And that's the thing. It's like liberating to just like acknowledge we're all weird. We're all human. We're all like trying to do our thing. We all have our little idiosyncrasies that like help us do the thing that we want to do, like at our best level.
Yeah.
And like, do you know, if you have to do your little ritual over there, amazing. Like Holland would be like walking backstage and she'd be like, ugh, making all these like sounds,
Like guttural.
yeah,
Guttural
like
sounds.
really just guttural sounds. And then she had to do like her little squats like backstage, and then we would like stand facing. Here, come here.
Yeah.
Well, I was on the bottom. Okay. I was the bottom.
Of course you are. Fucking straight bitch.
We knew Holland was the top, don't worry.
Yeah. And we would stand in full
Sarah.
costume. We would stand in full wardrobe or whatever in our little suits, and we would just like look at each other and be like, and we'd like breathe. And then whatever crazy shit was going on in the world, we would maybe talk about it, maybe not. And we'd be like, let's go out there. And then she would tell me, be where your feet are.
Wow.
Yeah. And that like became like one of our things we would say.
And then you slowly embrace. No,
And then that was it. And then we'd be like, okay,
You ground yourself.
Grateful
You
for
grounded
you.
yourself.
Grateful for you. And then we would walk on stage.
Because, like you said, you're yelling at each other.
Oh yeah. Well, well, I started actually halfway through the run to keep it real. It was hard to do that, to like just be fighting, you know, like the animosity, because like the third scene of the play gets like really intense, and like I'm weeping about the border crisis. I'm like trying to reason with her about things that A believes in, and and we're going at it, and then it starts getting really personal, and we're like, you know, the audience is clutching the pearls, honey. Like it was a lot, and we wouldn't yell. We would get loud, but like it was, again, she's a really great actress, and like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like I'm not gonna say that about myself, but like I can fight. And so we were going at it. There were days where I was like, in my like other brain, like I'm there like saying a line, and in like the back of my head I'm like, te pasaste. You went a little too far. Like she's gonna be actually mad at you. Is she actually mad at you? Whatever, keep fighting. But like she's for sure gonna be mad at you. Like, oh my God, like you did something a little too much. Like, you know, like, because sometimes if, you know, in a conversation or in a fight,
Right.
if someone does something really specific with your voice, like there was this one line that sometimes she would go, because they're not doing what you want, and I'm like, what I want is blah blah blah. So I would like serve it back to her, and those were the days where I was like, I'd get off stage and I'd be like, oh my god, my friendship with Holland, like I don't know, like I need to like give her something, like a gift, like I don't know. And so halfway through the run, I started going into her dressing room before we got into like because she was wearing a wig as Pelosi.
Yeah.
And I started like just needing to see her as herself and needing her also to see me as myself before we became the characters and before we like got on the ice.
Right, of course.
Because I just needed like to make sure that we were super, super solid. So then we could go and like get at it.
Yeah.
Right. And it actually really was helpful. Like, for example, Sinatra.
Yeah.
Best case scenario in my
Ava
life
Gardner.
is that the Tony winner who is playing Frank Sinatra is gay.
Ooh.
So I can be in bed with him and be making out with him and have all this freedom. And me and Phoebe Panaritos, who plays Nancy Sinatra, like we talk about it all the time. Like we were in the UK at this time last year for like 4 months doing the project, like for the first like out of town. And then it'll come to Broadway next year. And we're over there, and she and I would just like go out and be like, oh my God, it's just like so delicious to have a gay man. because it's just, you're not worried, like, you know, so that trust of like the person off stage can then allow you to be so free on stage to like let all your walls down and like really, really go there to whichever extreme, whether it's a fight, whether it's sex, whether it's whatever. And
Okay, so speaking of,
oh God.
Whoa.
No,
I'm very curious about the segue. Yeah. So speaking of fighting sex.
No. Sex and all that shit is in the back mirror. We're gonna get to what really matters now, which is your voice.
Wait, before you do that, I actually have a question for you.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've heard, or the birds have heard. The birds have told me that you've described being on stage as a self-healing experience.
Yeah.
And I can, even though I've known you for all of these years, I feel like I'm getting to know another side of you here, which I'm like so happy you're here for. And I have so much respect for you as a professional, as an actress, as a dancer, as a singer, but this is really cool to hear the behind the scenes. Has there ever been a moment where you've been on stage and you've kind of like transcended the performance and connected to something in your life where that moment on stage impacted you personally?
Yeah, and it's interesting because this is actually a technique that some actors do use, is to draw from their actual lives and their actual experiences and kind of like placehold for, you know, if they need to like draw from that emotion. If you think of it as like a well or something, and you're like trying to like put some of that water into here so that it can like apply to the story. I'm not that type of performer. I'm not that type of actor. I think I just like really allow myself to like surrender to like the context of what the scenario is or what the script is. So I try not to be like, think of something sad that is not part of this. Like I try to just be like, oh, it's almost like radical empathy, like where you're really, really putting yourself in that situation of like, I've never had my back broken. Right. I've never been in a car accident that almost ended my life and my husband's and my son's. I've never been in that scenario. But practicing that radical empathy, and again, not making it about me, then allows me to like be so in that character. And I think it all depends on like the work you do before you even get there. Yeah. Because if you haven't done the work, then you have to draw on something. Right. So it makes sense to be like, I'll think about like that time my dog died or something. But I think that the most like authentic connections are like when it's really, really rooted in honesty, whether that's like on stage or on camera. It's like, you know, it's the same but different. It's kind of like playing the same song on a different instrument because like the camera is obviously a camera. But, you know, I try to stay away from place holding. But having that said, when I was like little, like when I wanted to do this with my life, it was because I was obviously yearning for somewhere to like belong, right? And so like I found that in performing, and now I'm getting emotional, but like I found that in being on stage. I found that in singing. I found that in there's like something that comes over the moment and myself that like, even if I'm like insecure and unsure of myself and like not sure where I belong in real life, I would get on stage and I was like, well, at least for these fucking 4 minutes of this song I'm gonna sing, this is where I am, and like at least this is so tangibly real. And then when I was a kid, I used to call, once I learned like what acting was, and once I started doing this for real, which my first musical that I did was when I was 9 years old. And when I learned that you could act and sing at the same time, my mind exploded, and I was like, oh, it's like living times 10. Like in that moment, like it's just, that's the only way that I could describe it. And for whatever reason, it does feel healing, because then like, even if it's just like that glimmer of like a moment, then in my real life, like it's almost like my super self, like, you know, like there's like Clark Kent and there's Superman. And if I know that Superman exists, then that makes Clark a little stronger. I don't know. Yeah.
Wow. Or at least love himself, or
appreciate
exactly.
There's
he
like,
is more.
Yeah. And now, and it's funny because then as I've like grown up and like started doing this for real, and then now I'm like really, really doing it for real and all this stuff. Like once it became like not a pastime, once it became like legitimately what I do with my life, it does make me love myself more, not for the jobs, but because of like the audacity to keep going back to it. Because it's hard. It's a hard thing to do. Like, and you get a lot of no's.
Make it through it.
Yeah. And you get a lot of like, there's a lot of heartbreak. There's a lot of like illusion. Every single time you audition for something, you have to tell yourself, I can get it. Otherwise, why would you audition?
You do it?
You know? So like, so that's like a little heartbreak every time. But then there's that thing, and then it's almost like the wand chooses the wizard, right? Like then you do get a job, and like in my life, for whatever, they've been these like major life events and these like powerhouse characters, and like extremely just these experiences that I'm like pinching myself about still sometimes, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe that's not a coincidence. So it goes back to that whole like loving yourself thing, and it's like, yeah, if that little girl hadn't gotten on stage, if that little girl hadn't felt so out of place in like the cafeteria at lunch as a kid enough to get on stage, and enough to like that, like I needed to keep doing it, I wouldn't be where I am. So that little girl, every single time, it's like a high five. I don't know. Yes.
Question: is it true that you played Gloria Estefan on Broadway?
Oh, brother.
No, because it was a rumor.
Should I leave?
I don't
so
even know who that is. It's like, I don't. Okay.
I did, which
So,
is
question.
still like such a mystifying statement. You know what I mean?
That's
But
great.
yes,
But
it
guess
is.
what? The mystifiers are not around now, so I have questions.
Oh,
Oh,
shit. Oh,
brother.
shit.
All right. My first question is, speaking of someone created from her DNA, who has elements of my voice that literally sound like hers, and elements that are my own, that I now am confident in saying.
Absolutely, baby.
I'm happy to sound. I'm a fan of my
Your mom's incredible.
Anybody
I'm a fan
that
of your
knows
mom's.
me for real knows that I'm a fan of her music. I'm a fan of her voice. I'm a fan of everything she did, regardless of whether I grew in her utero. Watch last week's episode. You're going to get that joke. But anyway, the point is that I'm a fan of hers, regardless of whether I came out that hoe or not. So the point is that... No.
Wow.
The point is that I know that one of the things when On Your Feet was starting was the fear of acquiring a female vocalist that was more in our range, the alto, lower register, such a specific voice, like the Karen Carpenters of the other times, and, you know, and like just, you know, females who have a little girthier voice. So my question for you is, when you're playing characters like Jem said, or even somebody that you're trying to get into the vocal, I don't know, get into shape vocally with that person. I don't even know what the words to use are, because that's why
it's
I'm
not
asking
even
you.
singing as yourself. Now, I mean,
Right.
that's
Yeah,
like
like-
a whole other thing. You have to sing like this
How do you even begin to learn to sing like somebody else? What is a session with a vocal coach who's going to teach you how to sing like somebody else look like?
I had to figure out a way to sing like me. And mind you, I'm a soprano, which is the wild thing about everything, because everyone now does assume always that I'm an alto, and I'm like, job well
Why
done.
are we like that? As a fellow soprano,
And I love
I
it.
like wish I was an alto.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Well, but hold on. But now there's also this like whole thing where like if you're not like belting a high Z, like you're like, it's like not impressive. But that's like not
Right.
That's not how I see it at all. Because like I can hear singers who can do vocal technique and backflips and all these things. Yeah. And it's just like, but I feel nothing.
Oh, yes.
You know, and that sucks. I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't care what you can do with your voice. I care if I care.
Feel.
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah. So having that said, I had to figure out a way to sing still with like how I know how to sing in order to not damage my actual instrument or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was more of like an aural, not oral.
Yeah. A-U-R-A-L.
Not oral. It was an aural experience because what I did was I just like listened. There's listening like when you're at a restaurant and there's music playing and you're talking. And then there's like active, really detailed listening. So what I did in order to play Your Mom, because it's just, the catalog is so beloved. Yeah. Those records are so ingrained in pop culture that like there's a wrong answer. And so I was like, I need to listen to her phrasing, her vowels, what consonants she's holding and actually singing on, and like and how she's doing it. And then like so I started with that, and I would write out like on a piece of paper with lines, I would write out the lyrics but like how they sounded to me. So anything for you with like 6 N's and like for you is almost like thrown away, or like little like I would write like little like the way that it sounded phonetically to me, and then I would use those, even though I've known these lyrics my whole life, but I would use those sheets to then kind of like rehearse with myself until I would listen, because I would record it and I would listen to myself and be like almost, or you know, to get the phrasing specifically for those records that are like so unmistakable, right? But also she did me a solid because she brought,
she's alive, first of all.
well, correct. She's very much alive, and she did me a solid because she brought her voice coach from Australia.
Torb.
That
guy is incredible.
Torb came to New York. Torb
Wow.
came to New York and worked with me on her technique, and also
He's not even a musician.
Isn't it wild?
That's crazy.
I'm getting
Literally-
comfortable.
oh, yeah, but
I'm
that's
getting
how you
comfortable.
know.
Please say who he is. Yeah,
Okay.
please get comfortable.
First of all I have to say is his name is Torb.
I know.
Case in point.
Literally
Who
the
the
coolest.
F is named Torb, number one. Number two, he's the most interesting man. Now I feel like I'm getting old. Anyway,
I know.
the third thing is that he used to listen to people in the FBI. Their vocal, yeah.
Yes.
Because he understands the vocal cords so much so that he can tell when you squeeze your cords, because your cords when you talk kind of slap together like this.
Guys, wow.
So when
the
you
audio is just
So when you
good.
squeeze when you squeeze your cords in the wrong way, it actually literally gives an indication that you're lying. And he used to do that. So tell me he's not a good vocal coach. if he's-
Damn.
That's scary, right? But you didn't tell you that.
I know he did not tell me that shit.
That's
Anyway,
I was also 24, and I was just like, literally, what is even happening in my
see,
life
we're
right
getting old. Oh my God. We're going to move on from On Your Feet.
now? Cool.
But I have one more question.
Okay.
It's going to be the hardest one.
Oh God.
And only I can ask you this
Oh
question.
shit.
oh.
Yeah, you better.
I'm,
oh,
like,
shit.
nervous.
You should be.
I should have had
No.
a snack.
You don't have to.
We tried. I know. I'm like, now the nerves.
All right, no. Before we move on from On Your Feet, this is a reality for those of you. Again, like she's displayed the truth of what it's like to be on a Broadway production, and she's made it very sweet because it's grueling,
It is grueling.
especially when you're in the lead role of something and vocally have to not only physically move your body but exercise that muscle in your voice every day. And sometimes you get injured, and sometimes shit happens, and sometimes you just don't want to fucking wake up in the morning. Sorry. Like in the sense of like, sometimes, you know what, I don't want to freaking do this play today, but you know what, you still have to do it. And one day you have to do it twice. My very real question to you is, at any point on the On Your Feet run, did you feel like it was too much and you just wanted to just not do it?
No. And I know that sounds like it's complete and utter bullshit.
I believe you.
You had to like, I mean, we saw it. It's actually the opposite. You had to like
Physically remove you from
my
the-
carcass
Yeah.
from that stage. I did hurt myself. I'm not gonna like sugarcoat it because it's you.
No. Well, it's not me.
like, yeah.
It's me and them, and they don't have to hear this. So
Well,
we can offline
no,
about
but the
this.
reality is I hurt myself because I didn't know when to. It's healthy to say I can't come in today.
Right.
It's healthy to say I need a minute. it's healthy to say my mental health, my physical health, I'm deteriorating. I moved to New York. I didn't know anybody. I met the cast. They were my coworkers. That was my world. The show was my world. There was nothing more important. My family, personal relationships, everything slipped through the cracks because I was like, this was everything.
Yeah.
And which I'm proud of to a certain degree, but like I would definitely handle it differently today, and I just did. Like I learned a lot from that experience because I was really young. I didn't know that it was okay because I loved it so much that, you know, like when you clutch something. One of my friends was actually the On Your Feet dance captain, Natalie Cruncho, who's like very wise.
She's awesome.
the best.
She's the shit.
She's awesome.
The shit.
She told me this one day. She's like, if you're trying to like hang on to like a little pile of sand and you clutch onto it with like everything you've got, it's all gonna spill out. If you like let your hand relax and just trust that it's there, you're not gonna drop any of it, actually. Yo, I was clutching for dear life. Nothing like that had ever happened to me. I do not come from any type of entertainment family. It felt like my purpose, like I still agree with that. But I didn't know how to do it without losing myself. And so like I lost myself completely. I lost my voice. I lost I was self-medicating. I was just like not speaking unless I was either her or talking about her in press. I was allowing Anna to completely erode in order to
That has
do
to
this
happen to
thing.
so many actors.
Well, and it does.
It has to happen
You
to
look
so
at Heath
many
Ledger.
actors.
You look at Robin
Exactly,
Williams. You look
like-
at all these people, and it's a very real thing. And in one way, it's beautiful, but like you also can't
Can't be your identity.
correct, because if you're not okay, there came a point where I was so lost and like unhealthy that then I couldn't do what I wanted most, which was the show and be her.
Well, and like we're flesh and bone, like we're human
Right.
beings, like you said, at the end of the day, to be able to do our art.
And if you're not, your
And,
cup's not full.
Girl, literally you're being very vulnerable, and I'm going to be equally as vulnerable. Like that's something that I feel heavy.
Yeah.
Like if your cup is not full and then you can't fill other people's cup, the only thing that's left is in other people's eyes to be selfish, to be,
Yeah.
oh my God, everything must come to a halt right now. But what's the alternative? That it's panic mode.
Yeah.
It's panic mode. And that's what happens with people too, like in the arts, like us, that we get so, our identity becomes
Yeah.
even something as silly as a song. I'm writing a song and my entire identity is this song and I need to finish a song right now. And then it's like, oh, but I'm not going to my best friend's birthday. Like, what the fuck?
Right.
You know what I mean? Or like
Right.
shit like that. That's like, it's complicated. Like, and I'm going to say this. I don't know if there are studies on this shit or not, but it's like, I feel like there's a million languages in the world, but either you're an artist or you're not.
Yeah.
And like, that's a language. I don't know.
In and of
I don't know if it sounds
For sure.
elitist.
To-
Maybe it
no.
does. Maybe it's not
No,
even
well,
like that.
elitist.
It's
I'll actually,
It's not
I
as
agree.
glamorous, I think, as people think it is.
No, at all.
Being an artist is not that fun.
No. And that's the thing too, is like, I really, it bothers me, to be honest, when people are like, oh, like, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. It's like incorrect.
So incorrect.
Absolutely incorrect. Because when you do what you love, we're not clocking in and clocking
Oh.
out. We're not like, doing the thing and it's like paint by numbers and then you walk away. Like you care so deeply, and
Around
then
the clock.
it's round the clock. And honestly, in this case, when it comes to what I was saying, and when I was younger, I was so scared of losing it all. I was so scared that if I wouldn't be 100, if I wasn't giving every last ounce that I had, if I wasn't there, if I wasn't making sure that not only was I doing the show, but everything that came in terms of events around it, press, blah, 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 like everything, I needed to be there and represent the show. And I couldn't let people down, and I couldn't let her down. I couldn't let your family down. I couldn't let,
So much pressure.
yeah, like I was crumbling, but like I would do it out of, it was all like positive, but it was work.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to be like, I really need a break, or I really need, like, the one time I left was when I lost my voice. And it was brutal, man. Actually the last time I wore in-ears until today was the comeback when we did Capitol 4th in DC, and I performed, and I was like, and your dad, I think, was like, you need to wear in-ears because it's like too big, and we're just like there in front of the Capitol, and I'm like singing conga with like the in-ears or whatever.
Which is really hard when you're not used to performing with in-ears.
Oh my God, it was so hard.
Because
but I was just so happy to be back. I was like, I had to take 2 weeks, and like I had to I went and saw Shaman. I went and saw Audra McDonald, and I sat on her couch in her dressing room backstage at Shuffle Along, and I lost it. And I was just like, I don't know what to do. And she's like, you need to go home, whatever that means to you, and shut up. And I flew to Miami, and I was silent here for 2 weeks. And every day was just like the biggest drama, because I was like, the show, everything, whatever. And then came back, and I was better. I mean, and it took time. I would still like get back, and I could hear in like the first 2 songs of the show, I'd be like, and I really had to think about technique and all this stuff. But I had been trained as an opera singer in college. Wow. So I relied on what I did know. And it's funny because in order to then continue being Gloria, I actually had to remember how to be Anna. Which was wild. Mindfuck of the century.
That's amazing.
I want to touch on little Anna. You've mentioned her a little bit.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but this journey in your life started at a performance at the Arthritis Foundation's Camp Funrise.
That is true.
Talent show.
That is true. I sang Lucky by Britney Spears.
No, you perfect. Wow. How the tables have turned. Wait, that's incredible.
I know. I mean, it was like very, I mean, yeah.
One of the things that we haven't mentioned yet that I think is very important to mention, because throughout all of this, you've been dealing with something that you've been dealing with since you were a little girl, and you've been very vocal about, which is arthritis. What is twofold question? Okay. Because you seem to be somebody that is so prepared, and I love the way that you approach all of these different things of your life. Is there a wellness tip that maybe people wouldn't expect that you have integrated into your routine to prepare for these roles, that somebody with your kind of schedule we wouldn't assume would be able to do?
I mean, listen, I'm like still figuring out exactly what the formula is. It kind of changes and shifts like with my mood. But I've learned that I have to have like first of all, I've been on like prescription drugs since I was 7 years old. I give myself an injection. I take a lot of pills. Like, I mean, I'm on real medication to keep my arthritis in control. Being a person with a chronic condition with a disability is weird, especially when you don't look like you have one. Oof. But one of my best friends, Ryan, he has cerebral palsy, and he's an actor, he's a writer, he's a genius. And he like really seared into my soul recently, because we were like having a conversation about something. And he's like, "You're disabled enough." Wow. And I was like, because like the world sees me, and that's perception versus reality is like one of the things that I find fascinating and struggle with a lot.
You can't really
shout
make
out to
that
my therapist.
Oh wow.
Correct. But especially then add to that the entertainment industry, and it's like times a million, right?
I know.
But I mean, you could have had a desk job.
Yeah, exactly, correct. Right. And I'd still be like, I have a secret. But the reality is like, I think that for me, like I'm very specific about what I put into my body to fuel my body. I had to learn to have a better relationship with food. Mm-hmm. I had to actually be able to eat, and we've talked about this, to be able to eat and not be like, okay, well, how can I make up for that? Because, this and this and this, because I was bulimic in middle school, and like, I've always had like body issue things because my body attacks me. Like my disability is that my body is attacking
working against
myself.
you. Yeah.
So how could I ever have a good relationship with it?
Right.
And then to add to that, to put it on display in crop tops and like
It was the 80s.
you know, exactly correct. Bedazzled crop tops and like all these things. So I've learned through what not to do, I think. Like, again, a lot of self-medicating when I was younger, a lot of just binge, whether it's drinking or then eating and then like making up for it by like starving myself or just doing the absolute most to feel like I deserve to order fries or something. But then add to that the prescription drugs. So like I've always been in this like weird in-between position where like I knew I had to take care of my illness, but I also wanted to live as much as I could.
Right.
You know, and like I don't know. So I don't know that I'm like here to give wellness tips, but I feel like I need to move my body. I need to fuel my body. And then like once that's handled, I can literally take care of everybody else around me. And it took me a long time to learn that. Like coming down to Miami sometimes, like my own, like my family who like I would die for, like they wouldn't understand sometimes. And I'm like, no, I have to do these things and I'm going to eat this way and I'm going to like, this is who I am. And it's part of the package.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially
and
being
so,
Latin, I think.
Exactly.
Where
and
food is such a heavy part of everything we do.
Also, like, we have spoken about this before, but I don't even know if I've told you this in detail. Like, my relationship with food is toxic.
Yeah.
Not in the same way it is with you, but when my grandma passed away, I just kind of like stopped eating. And then my body got accustomed to not eating as much. My stomach got smaller. And now, like, eating for me feels like a chore.
Yeah.
In a way. Like I don't enjoy it. It's something that I just have to do because what happens is if I don't, I start to lose my mind.
Wow.
Like for real, like if I don't have the right nutrients in my body and if
yeah.
I don't get on my bike or go for a walk or go for a run, like I don't feel like myself and I will start acting not like myself.
100%. I can't be, I'm not good for anybody unless I have done those like similarly.
But it gets like real serious, man. Like like filling your cup. Back to the filling your cup thing.
It's 100% that.
Like understanding what it takes to love somebody else adequately, loving yourself first.
Yo,
but like that,
and it's so hard, and it's so, and it sounds like it's such a thing, and everybody says it, and it sounds so flippant or whatever.
No,
but like it is really hard,
especially I think in the context of where the world we live in.
Agreed.
Being Hispanic and being women.
I agree.
Where we were raised almost to serve.
Yeah.
And to be worried about everything around us and everybody else's mood around us. It's really hard to center yourself as the most important thing in your life. And that's things that we are.
Yeah.
Like we're the only people responsible for the bodies that we occupy. We're the only people that are with ourselves 100% of the time.
Right.
And it's I think it's something that I absolutely relate to. I don't relate to the food thing.
Yeah.
I struggle with M sometimes, you know, because I can't understand what it is like.
I'll literally be like, Gem, the food. I'm looking at the food and I literally want to vomit.
And I'm like,
I can't eat the food.
I love food.
Like thinking of eating
my relationship
right
to
now
food is like that's actually one of my love languages.
Dude, literally, I got here today.
I know.
I have
one of my
major
love languages.
Food anxiety. I got
you
here
don't
today,
have to
and
eat
no,
it.
I'm very
Just
excited
saying.
to eat it.
You can take it home.
But if I had eaten before being on camera, and before having to have like thoughts that aren't thinking about the fact that I just ate, that would not
throw
be,
things off.
It would throw I would have to like go like walk around the block or something if I had one croqueta or something.
Sense.
You know what I mean? Like because that's I have really intense I don't know. And I think that like I told myself like when I started singing, I had a voice teacher who was amazing. Denai Ferrer here in Miami, and we would talk about like the diaphragm and whatever, and she's like, you know, if you've just eaten, obviously you can't like expand as much, like you have to really be mindful about like breathing and whatever you're gonna perform
physically.
And I was like and so I was starting to perform, and so like those types of things. But then again, to your point, we're women, you know, the aesthetic of it all, and somehow it turned into this other. Her advice was not wrong or bad, but it turned into this other thing where like I'm like a little rabid raccoon after a show, and I'm there like I need like that's when I like eat and can actually just like
relax.
Yes, and I like to eat after I've done the things that I need to do that are in any way like in front of or presentational, and it's I have like a lot of food anxiety. Today at the hotel I'm staying in, like I'm at the breakfast and like I wanted more food, and I was like, oh my god, but how embarrassing. Did they see me? Like, are they gonna see that I'm like going up for like more smoked salmon right now? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, how embarrassing for me. And I was by my fucking self. But I was so paranoid that I was gonna get up and get more smoked salmon. You know what I'm saying? Like, not even like a pancake. Like, literally like
I love that you can laugh about it though.
I mean,
yeah.
Que remedio, bro.
Give me the number of your therapist, please.
Oh, Bernie. We love Bernie.
Bernie.
We love
Bernie.
Bernie.
This way while
All right, well, okay, for real though, we've
I
been
may
talking.
not have an issue with food, but I have so many others.
Girl, I'll tell you some issues she has.
Hey.
We all do.
Beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes.
You guys.
Literally.
Oh my god.
Literally. Oh man.
All right, well, listen, obviously, I know we talked about Broadway. You touched on the Roxie role, which is incredible. Everybody loves that shit. But also, we've been seeing you on TV and movies and doing like awesome things like that. You had a little moment in New Amsterdam.
I did.
Because everybody loves a little medical drama, baby.
Everybody loves a medical drama, and what I personally love
Especially
about
her.
that medical drama is when it went onto Netflix. And I was like, yes, that's good for me. Yeah, it's funny. I was walking into of all things, of course, a Pilates class the other day, and the instructor was like, so, my husband or something, whatever, fiance, husband, blah, blah, blah. And I sat down and started watching New Amsterdam, and I was like, she's in my Pilates class on Fridays. And I was like, oh my God. And then I like followed her on Instagram because I was like, she was so nice about it.
That.
Yeah. Yeah. So New Amsterdam is a thing, but they put me in this like bangs. Like they put me in this half wig. I kid you not. It was like a clip on.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen
Exactly what my hand is doing.
No,
Bangs.
Katy Perry just ripped one off. You didn't see that video?
Hello,
No?
Bella.
What? No.
Bella had one.
Yeah, Bella. But Katy Perry literally just put a video on Instagram where she's like with Orlando Bloom, and she's like, oh, when.
Oh my God.
You know what it is, Janelle? Like she said, like, oh, when the bangs are fake, but the love is real. I don't remember. I'm watching it. But she's she's like right there with him, and then she literally just grabbed the bangs and ripped them out. I was like,
I mean,
you better decriminalize clip-on bangs.
And
bitch.
we need to talk about something else, which is Orlando Bloom. That level of the flat iron. Have you ever seen the videos of like someone like pretending to be like, you know, do you guys know Lord of the Rings?
Lord of the Rings?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
like,
yeah, what, but
Legolas, right? With like his like half up, half down, perfectly snatched,
Always.
fucking like
Yes,
full
yes,
out
yes.
flat.
I actually was
He's
going
like,
for that
let me
today.
go into battle, but first. That's like my favorite version of Orlando Bloom. Is
Oh, for
Legolas.
sure. For
Like,
sure. Well, I just love Lord of the Rings.
I mean, me too. The Battle of Helm's Deep when he gets on the fucking.
Look at you. I
yo.
didn't know that. Anna.
Oh.
I think I have a little crush on Anna, babe.
Nerds. That's fine.
I'm such a nerd. When he
with
gets
me.
on the
You
the
like the
shield
daughter, you
and
like the
surfs
mother.
on the orcs with his little arrow thing, hot. With the snatch.
Are
bow.
you
me ask
watching
you-
the new series?
Yeah, of course. Rings of Power.
I'm not watching it.
Oh my god.
What do you
why?
mean? We started it, babe.
I know,
There's a
but
Puerto Rican elf.
What?
I swear to you.
What? No, no,
Okay,
no.
hold on.
Is
hold
his name
on, hold on.
Mofongo?
Let me. Might as well be. Honestly,
Dominican.
all of those names are something like that. Okay, so one of the characters on Rings of Power is an elf. He's badass, super hot also, and he's Puerto Rican.
In real life.
In real life,
Okay.
obviously.
No, I'm like,
No,
Puerto Rican
in-
elf, how did they write
No,
that
no, no.
into the
In
script?
Middle Earth,
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
he's
what?
from, you know,
Yeah.
the elf place. But I can't believe I'm going into this right now. But every time when I'm watching it, me and my man will sit and watch Rings of Power, and whenever he comes out, we will be silent the rest of the episode, just watching like intently. And whenever that fucking man comes out, Ishmael Cordova Cruz, I think is his name, the actor. Every time he comes out, we're like, Puerto Rico! Whoa! And we just go ape shit. And all of his like scenes, like, you know, he uses arrows. And like, so whenever we see the arrows, we're like, is it him? And it's just, he's our guy. There's a Puerto Rican elf. Watch it.
All right.
I have to
Watch
now.
it. You need to watch it.
And I'm going to look for him.
No, and he has like beautiful eyes.
Okay.
But he's like tan. I mean, it doesn't matter to you.
fine.
But he's still hot.
I can appreciate
Yeah,
beauty.
he's still
We
hot.
appreciate beauty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
And more so Latino culture represented.
Amen.
In
And that's what I tell him all the time. I'm like, what I want is like that. Like I want to do like a role.
A role like that?
Yeah,
Same.
like where like I'm just.
What's
yeah,
your dream role?
I'm.
Now that you bring it up, what is your dream role? Because mine is something like that.
Yeah, something I don't know. I want to do things that, I mean, listen, I'm really, really proud. It's actually interesting because this has been a very large topic of conversation in my life over the last couple months.
Sorry.
This, no, it's good, right? Like, it's good. I'm proud of the way I've like had the opportunity to represent Latino culture.
Absolutely.
And
Broken
in
barriers.
such a thank you in such a meaningful way, and I'm like, it's completely over my head that's like a real statement. Because,
Yeah.
you know, yes, and I'm very interested in projects that I can be in my full Latina-ness and not necessarily have to talk about it or have to do or have to like go into narratives that only apply, you know, like this guy being an elf, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
He's an elf.
That's
in
it.
Middle Earth.
Yeah, like,
and he's Puerto
that's it,
Rican.
right.
And we're home going,
exactly correct. And so it's like normalizing that
Yeah.
just like how Orlando Bloom can be an elf, I can be an elf, Ishmael can be an elf, you can be an elf.
First of all,
you.
I
can all be elves,
can
okay?
literally,
Or hobbits.
I can literally be an elf. One thing that On Your Feet got wrong, this bitch is tall. I am 5'2", probably a little shorter because my posture is bad. I can be the Cuban elf.
You can be the Cuban
¿Viste?
hobbit.
Tú no sabes que voy
can
a
be the
traer a
Cuban
medio mundo.
Wow.
Middle Earth ain't got nothing on this.
Middle Earth,
medio
esto no lo
mundo.
teníamos en Cuba.
Shall we do a little rapid fire?
Oh, I'm down.
I have some rapid fire.
I don't know if she's ready for this because I
don't either.
perused the questions that we've been put her on the spot and she's been acting good. So now we got to make her act bad. So.
Okay, but this is perfect because that was one of my questions.
Okay, here we go. Hit it.
What?
What's your dream role?
Oh.
Okay.
Well, but that would also have to specify on stage or not.
Okay, go ahead.
Any role.
That
TV.
already exist.
No, you can
I mean-
create it. What's your dream role?
Let's say already exists.
That already exists on stage. I do want to play Mama Rose in Gypsy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
If you wanna bump with a trumpet.
Wow. You
That
have
was,
stiff
I mean,
competition.
honestly, never mind because you've got it. You've
So
got
sorry.
it. I already bought tickets. Like, let me know. I'll be there.
Sorry, I took over that.
Okay.
I'm teary-eyed.
And let's do television and let's do film.
With television, I have yet to read the script. That is my
Okay.
dream role.
No, she wants to be the Puerto Rican elf.
Oh, right. So sorry. How dare I?
But film, movie musicals.
Oh.
Like movie musicals, whether, you know, I know Joseph and Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat is down the pipeline. John Chu is going to direct it. I definitely would like murder the narrator role.
Ooh.
But
You have a
you
good
know,
narrating voice.
TBC. Yeah, have you seen that? That show is all sung.
No, I haven't
Okay,
seen it.
so that show is all sung, and the narrator is like singing the whole whole time.
The whole drama.
Oh, I
yeah,
love
like
that.
basically it's like her and then Joseph, and then like the brothers.
Oh my God, I just woke up. I gotta take a pill.
Exactly correct.
Forgot I
That's
had my
exactly correct
period. I
because
gotta
that's
take my
musical
tampon
theater.
out.
Okay, speaking of musical theater, what's your favorite musical of all time?
Rent,
Oh.
I love that. I might have to say the same.
100%.
I don't know if it was because it was a part of my upbringing in such an impactful way, or obviously the story, the message, the music, all of it. But
Yeah.
I
I mean,
like that.
that whole
Okay.
the concept of No Day But Today was like
Oh yeah.
so. Every single that musical is bars.
Oh.
That musical. I mean, so is Sondheim,
It's
but that
hit
musical
after
is
hit.
bars. Like
Yeah.
every single line, every couplet, like that, like tattoo, like you know what I mean? Like it's
baby.
yes.
Okay. So this is gonna be a tough one.
Okay.
You're Triple threat, rapid
Yes.
fire. What are the upsides and downsides of being so? For example, how do you know what to prioritize? What's your favorite? What are the upsides and downsides of being a triple threat?
Upsides and downsides is that one is always going to be the third, you know? For me, that's dance.
I told you.
Wait, no, hold on. X her question. Fuck, marry, kill. Acting, singing, dancing. Is it kill dancing?
I have a question about that question.
Okay.
Okay. Are we fucking multiple times, like forever, or are we fucking once?
Up to you.
Okay. So marry, acting, fuck singing forever, like constant affair.
Yeah. Oh, it's your mistress. Got it.
Correct. And then
Kill dancing.
kill dancing.
Okay. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're a sick dancer, but like you mentioned,
you.
I was there for that process.
Yeah.
And I was watching you the whole time.
Right, and I didn't want to dance.
And I
Sergio
know you
Trujillo,
would
I
kill.
remember the day Sergio Trujillo was like, I'm going to make you dance like a dancer because they're going to come into this Broadway show wanting you to dance like a dancer. And I know that Gloria in real life did what she did and like
My mom is not a dancer.
Wasn't about dancing
No.
at all. And I was like, but it has to be like authentic to the character. And he's like, sure.
Not to
but
my show.
This is Broadway.
Carlos
okay?
Gonzalez, you're getting
Exactly.
a card tonight.
Also,
A call
like,
tonight.
wow, complicated choreo. Sergio
Yeah.
doesn't play any game.
He was playing zero games.
Zero games.
Zero games.
All right, next question. Do you have an acting method?
I do over prepare. I do tend to be like a little bit
I feel like I'd be like that.
more on the
Love it, though.
because then I can have fun.
And there's also more to pull from.
Yeah, for sure. And so I'll like over research like to the max. And then because as long as I have my parameters, then I can do all the zigzagging, whatever. I'm not like a memorize the way I'm gonna say a line or the inflections, except for playing your mother. And except for playing AOC because everybody knows how they talk.
Yeah.
So case in point, a summer of going like this.
Oh, wow.
You know, like
Wow.
everything was.
Wow.
What was one of my
Wow.
lines?
That
Let's
was
see,
not a soundbite. That was Anna.
That was real, guys.
everything was like
Creepy.
We are not in Kansas anymore. And by Kansas, I mean Queens and the Bronx.
shit like that. And so like that doing like the whole summer. But so case in point for
See,
so
now
I-
you're creeping me.
so like you know like there's moments where it calls for it if it's but it all has to be grounded in other shit. Like no person has the way that they are, the way that they sit, the way that they speak, the way that they emote on their face like by accident. It all comes from something. So like I'll do the digging to like put the person together, favorite colors, sign, you know, where they grew up. Like for Ava Gardner, she was born in like a super random little, not even like a town in North Carolina. And I went to the address of the house where she was born,
Wow.
which is no longer there. Okay. But we still like, I still went, and now where her house was, where she was born,
Eat the earth.
más o menos, more or less. I'm very weird. I needed to like feel the energy, understand where geographically she came from, because like no one is born a glamorous movie star. So I needed to go to that level so that I can understand how to root versus flower, right? Like the root first. And so like I went to where she was born, and now the house is demolished, but it's a field of sunflowers.
Oh, wow.
So backstage, I always had sunflowers in my dressing room. You know what I mean? So it's little things that aren't that little that to me mean
Connect
something,
you.
and it all like turns into this beautiful chain link thing, and I get to play in it, and it's like, I don't know, but it's
Epic.
all based on something human that I can
Yeah.
that I can actually understand.
Also, like the way in which we all connect, which is something that fascinates me. I swear to God, Jem was in the car. We're driving over here. And I literally was eating a sandwich while I was driving over here. And I said, don't you
What
think
kind of
it's
sandwich?
weird? A vegan sandwich, but it had gluten, so sorry. But vegan cheese, vegan turkey, vegan mayo, and bread.
That's the answer I wanted. Okay, go on.
So that was it. And it's cold. But I'm eating the sandwich, and I'm looking at the sandwich, and I'm like, damn. Isn't it weird that this sandwich is just like here as a sandwich, and then I eat the sandwich, and then it's just gone, just vanishes, and then it just turns into something
Right.
else. but it's still the sandwich, just in an.
I just can't believe that that's what you were thinking about on the drive.
Yeah, but like that's the way I think, and I honestly
Not like, for example, where we were
back
going.
to the artists and not artist people. My point is that
yeah.
the deeper that you think about something, the more you feel connected to it.
Yeah.
Like, who was it that said, when you eat an apple, think about that. Think about what it took for the apple to grow, where it came from.
Right,
Like,
right,
we're
right.
so disconnected from what we do every day that I feel like when you're studying for something like acting or music or something like that, you know, like I'm working on the music for a Broadway play now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this process has been revolutionary for me because the more that I know about the character and the situation that the character is in, the easier the song comes out. And
That
the
makes so much
more
sense.
and the more simple it is, because if I have contextual evidence, if I have information, if I know exactly what's going on, then you don't need much more to understand what's going on.
How about this? It's easier for me to sing. Okay, there are two things that are easier for me to sing. Spanish. I don't know.
Wow.
Just DNA wise, something else comes alive in me. When I sing in Spanish, it is a different thing than when I'm singing in English. And the second one, when I'm acting. If I am a character, it's like an invisibility cloak.
Yeah.
Like I'm telling a story, I'm playing a character, and I'm so connected to that the singing is almost like an afterthought.
Yeah.
And when I'm singing, so it's a learning process to sing as myself.
Ooh.
Just raw.
Well,
Okay,
babe,
I'm gonna
you
try to
want-
get these quickly.
Sorry,
No,
these are rapid
okay,
fire
Because,
questions
yeah,
where you're having like a
because what's
fireside
happening is
chat.
that the portal to Earth is closing.
Okay,
and we
okay,
need to know
okay.
what's going on in our
What's your go-to karaoke song?
Black Velvet, Alana Miles.
I believe it because you said it quickly. Mine is Thong Song.
I know, I am that bitch who's like, everybody,
girl so
get ready.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to sing, okay?
You are.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It's horrible.
That's not me.
I don't give a fuck.
That's okay.
I'm at a
Do
karaoke
it.
place to let everybody know.
Okay, you see, baby? And that's why you should go up and sing. She refuses. I'm like, just go. Show them all who's boss.
Yeah, it's fun.
It is fun, right?
But also, depending where. Hold on. Do
you wanna
in
go
New
to a
York,
bar?
you don't want to go and like
No,
be like
not
that
New
girl
York.
being
No,
like,
like on a cruise.
No, not only that.
on a cruise.
Also, like, homie, you do somebody's taxes and then you're at the bar and you want somebody to ask you about your taxes. No, homie.
Wait, what? Oh, I get what you're saying.
Oh,
Like, it's your
got it.
job.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah, yeah.
anyway.
Well, that too.
Like, I'll sing what I want to sing. Leave me
Correct.
alone.
And that's true. And that is true. That I buy. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm with you on that. And
Okay,
mind you,
next.
like the whole Black Velvet thing is like,
No, that's okay.
it depends on the
No,
amount
you
of
said
bottles
it.
of
That's
wine.
safe
But that's
here.
the real.
She said
You're
it.
the real
She
truth.
said it.
What is your favorite way to unwind after a performance?
Of what?
Wow.
Sorry. Are we acting?
Okay, she's overqualified.
Are we singing? Are we doing musical
She's
theater?
overqualified
It
for this
depends.
question.
Probably eating though.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
Probably
good enough for
eating
me.
something.
That's good enough for me. And if you could be reborn in a different decade, what decade would it be?
Ooh, this is gonna sound weird, but prohibition in New York.
Ooh.
Because
the
of the
20s?
aesthetic?
No,
Why?
because of like the underground life that was going on.
Ooh.
Yeah, like
So
you know,
sexy.
ballroom up in Harlem.
Yeah, the bee's knees.
Like the East Village. There was this one place. Maybe this is a dream role, but there was this one place. There's this bar. Well, it just closed actually, but there was this place on 80 St. Mark's that was a speakeasy, and was obviously, you know, you had to, the speakeasies were like the prohibition bars that they weren't
Knock
allowed
on the
to
door,
have
say a
alcohol.
password.
Right.
And it was run by this one gangster and who had this girl who was a Brazilian immigrant. Her name was Gia Ortega, and she was
good name.
his girlfriend, but not like she sang at the club, and turns out that she was kind of running shit, and then she knew too much, and he had her murdered. And when the people who then bought the bar years later found a safe, there were still underground tunnels to like smuggle the booze, right?
Wow.
And years later, they found a safe down there with like millions of dollars and her remains.
What?
And I want to make it into a series for
Well,
like
you
HBO or
should.
Amazon, and I want to
Don't
play her.
steal
Hire me
that.
to do the music because Jem will tell you my favorite era of music is the 20s.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's I'm like fascinated by it. There was so much happening because it was all clandestine, and it was
Yeah.
all like, if you were marginalized, if you were a person of color, if you were a woman, if you were disabled in any way, there was a whole life happening in those margins, and that's something like super interesting to me. Plus, of course, like the, the organized crime and all the mob stuff.
Yeah,
like
and
all
the
that.
fashion.
Yeah. Oh,
The
my gosh,
fashion.
of course.
Music.
100.
And the
All of it.
clarinets. You know
All
how
of it.
much I
All
love
of
clarinets.
it. The dancing. When it was Chicago, I had to learn all the period dances, like all the Charleston and all those things. And it was fascinating. And all of it was born out of rebelliousness because of like the conservative whatever agenda that like was the mainstream, and then everybody on the outskirts doing like creating so much.
And look at us now, shaking the ass and
I love
tetas.
that.
Exactly.
Coño.
We've come a long way.
WAP.
Well,
Wow. Wow, I almost forgot about that.
women are progressive. Wow.
Wow.
All right. Okay, well,
There's no wrong way to eat a Reese's, okay?
Anna, for real, dude, this has been really dope, but there's something that we kind of have to teach you about before we deorbit and leave space. Speaking of, how has space been for you?
I'm enjoying it.
Good.
I am so enjoying it.
We
feeling
love it up
good?
here.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
living
Usually
my
people
life.
shrivel up and dehydrate by now, but you look
No,
pretty good.
she's in her
No,
spacesuit.
I'm
Come on.
super hydrated.
That's right. She's in the spacesuit, which is actually, keeps everything
Yeah.
in, the science, all
It's
the
an invisible
science.
barrier.
It's science and the invisible and the air and the all of it. It just happens right here. But before we leave you guys, we have to tell you what's going on in the most amazing outer space network in the whole world. Space News! All right, so what you're going to hear right now is the real news of what's going on in outer space and nothing but the news, the real news. Like I said, ladies, germs, germettes, germones. This is the news. Here we go. All right. SpaceX launches have been causing sonic booms in Central Florida. This is a real thing, you guys, and we're in Florida right now. If you are in the area and you want to experience this for yourself, you need to look at the launch schedule so that you can make yourself to the radius of one of those launches. However, make sure you are nowhere near a Taco Bell, because if you're in a 10-mile radius of the Taco Bell, there are also sonic booms being reported in the restrooms of those Taco Bells in Central Florida. So just, you got to make sure that you're in the right radius between the launch and the Taco Bell. You don't want to confuse one sonic boom for the other.
I would just like to add, as a Taco Bell aficionado, that I have no issues going to the bathroom. That might be a myth.
I just report the news.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, you're
Like,
absolutely right.
They're
I
reading
heard the Crunchwrap Supreme was back. Is this true? I don't know. I haven't
It
been there
never
in a long
left,
time.
I don't think. I haven't been to Taco Bell in a long time. That's a sentence
That's
I've
where we're
never
going
said.
after this. We're going to talk about.
Okay, go ahead. No, she can't. Taco Bell.
Breaking news! Breaking news, everybody. Astronaut ice cream, remember that shit, has never been eaten in space.
Really?
I feel duped, everybody. I don't know how you feel. It's not only the highest grossing and most sold item at Children's and Science Museum gift shops, but it is now confirmed to be as gross as we thought it was. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a quote from the International Space Station. They said, "We don't care how hungry we get up here. We're not eating that shit."
Boundaries. That's sexy.
Sorry, guys. All right.
Now I want Dippin' Dots.
That's better than astronaut ice cream. This just in, right now. I'm actually getting this news. This is an actual AI plank right
Oh my God,
here.
your handwriting is awful.
I'm so glad. This just in. My handwriting is awful. Okay, no. This just in. And actually, this is really the truth, y'all. You can look it up, okay? This is one of the most exciting space newses I've read to date, all right? Uranus is much more gassy than we ever thought. Why are you laughing? I'm just reading the news. With a significant portion of its core made up of not ice, as we previously thought, but surprisingly a mushy form of methane gas. That's it. I don't even have to write the punchline for the joke. Your anus is full of methane, everybody. And this has been Space News!
Wow.
It's the news. Look it up.
Wow. Okay, so that was only like 50% true. And it's better than other times, because sometimes it's really only 30% true, but there you go. That's space news.
There you go. I needed to know all of it. So I feel informed.
I mean, your anus is gassy, so.
It's Uranus, just so you know.
Is that
No,
true?
no,
Uranus.
it's Uranus. It's Uranus.
Yeah, Uranus.
That's what it's. No. Then why is everybody saying it wrong?
Well, can you really resist the urge, whenever you've learned about Uranus, to not just say Uranus?
Yeah, but like the teachers said You know what I'm saying? I mean, granted,
They
I
were
guess
probably
could've been wrong,
stoned.
too.
Listen,
Well, I also went to school in Miami. So like,
Exactly.
English was
Exactly.
not a strength.
English was a second language, okay?
Correct.
well, Ana Teresa Villafañe. Yes, I know your middle name.
Oh, we brought out the middle name. We did not bring out the middle
Yes, I
name.
know your middle name.
I love that.
But it's really been a pleasure flying with you.
Truly.
And thank you for being here and informing us on what you've been doing. One thing that I didn't mention, I'm just going to pop in there before we leave, is that I'm waiting for your album.
Oh, yeah.
Because as much as you love to act, and you know, you said very clearly that you would fuck singing, and I
Multiple
think that
times.
you should. Fuck, I think that
To be clear, that's why I had to make sure it wasn't
I
like
think
one.
that you should fuck it into an album.
Wow.
And I'll, and
I
I'll-
agree.
and I'll listen
I
to
second
it.
that.
So
Stay tuned. There are things. Yeah.
Okay.
any final thoughts? Anything you want to tell your
Where
your
can people
fans
find
in
you?
space
Constituents?
and in,
Oh,
in,
yeah.
in on Earth?
No, this has been fucking rad, and I'm just happy to see you guys. This never would have had, we always are like, we need to hang out.
Also, can I just say that was one of the best gay prides I've ever experienced?
Yes,
And,
wait,
like,
that was the first time.
We're not going anywhere.
She forgot
guys.
already. She forgot. Here I am telling her that this is one of the best gay prides I've ever experienced. And it was literally just me and her. And I don't know
Yeah.
how that happened.
Yeah.
But we were just like,
was
let's go
working.
together.
Yeah, you were.
And it was so fun.
It was so fun.
I guess it was more fun for me than you. But
No, it
that's
was more.
okay.
Wait, what do you mean? Why?
I'm just kidding.
That was the
All
first
right,
time I'd
so
ever been to Gay Pride in Miami.
Everybody, so
Wow.
as you hear these two arguing in the back, and we're gonna.
We're
wait
not
till
arguing in the back, we're arguing in the front. Uranus.
Yeah,
Uranus.
it's full of gas. Uranus is full
Thank
of
you
gas.
for coming to outer space with
Thank
us. It has really been a pleasure.
We love you.
We love you.
Thanks for traveling with us, everybody. In Our Own World. Follow us on socials at In Our Own World Pod. And check out what Ana's doing, whether it be sleeping with gay men, straight men on screen, teaching us about what the fuck to do on Broadway, or releasing her album, which we are waiting for.
Yeah.
We love you. Thanks, Ho.